Okay, so the proposition we will be talking about tonight is that the U.S. should ban GM crops simply because it poses too great of a health and environmental risk. The purpose of a GM crop is to increase crop production and to produce desired traits. A GMO, defined by eco-agriculture, is an organism into which has been inserted through genetic engineering one or more genes from an outside source, either from the same or different species. My first claim is GM crops create a health risk. In 1992, an FDA scientist's concerns were silenced for 7 years until records were made public due to a lawsuit. The scientists agreed that genetic engineering leads to different risks than traditional breeding and had repeatedly warned their superiors that GM foods might create unpredictable, hard-to-detect side effects. They urged their appointees who were in charge at the FDA to require long-term safety studies, including human studies, to guard against possible toxins. The appointees in charge ignored the professional warning. Another professional warning that came up was the USDA ignored scientific opinion. Biotech companies' regulatory agencies have ignored the data and cling to unproven or obsolete safety assumptions. Also, there has been a rise in allergies because genes of different species are being injected into other species. People are developing more allergies. When this process happens, manufacturers are able to find loopholes. So an example is soybeans outfitted with a Brazil nut gene stimulated allergic reactions in the blood of those allergic to nuts. Dr. Jacqueline Pongrestic, head of the allergy department at Children's Memorial Hospital in Chicago, said, "I've been treating children in the field of allergy immunology for 15 years, and in recent years, I've really seen the rates of food allergies skyrocket." As I said, manufacturers are able to find loopholes in laws and agency policies because GM ingredients are considered food additives. Usually they would have to go long-term animal feeding studies, but there is an exception, however. For substances that are deemed generally recognized as safe or GRAS, a product can be commercialized without additional testing. So another part of my evidence is effects of consuming GM foods are unclear. Corn and canola are engineered to produce a pollen sterilizing toxin called Barnus. Barnus is toxic to human cells and causes kidney damage in rats. Although the GM plants were designed to produce the toxin in non-food portions of the plant, some of the toxin is likely to be produced in all parts of the plants. So when people would be eating, they would be eating parts of the poisonous plants. My second claim is the environmental risk outweighs the benefits. We now have an increased use of herbicide. Herbicide-tolerant crops increase the use of their associated herbicides. Increased herbicide residues in crops can promote the toxic effects of these chemicals on humans, animals, and offspring. Another increase in environmental risk is antibiotic-resistant marker genes, which allow cells to survive applications of an antibiotic. It would be a serious health hazard to introduce a gene that codes for antibiotic resistance into the normal flora of the general population. This comes from internal memos from the FDA divisions of anti-infection and drug products. So there is a health risk and a giant environmental risk when you get to GMOs, and that's it.